Hey everybody, welcome. Hi Taylor, hi to everyone who's jumping on. Just going to get this right. So thanks to everybody who's joined my Facebook group, Build Your Brand Online. It's so nice to have you all over there now as well. And to everybody who signed up for my Instagram course, brandyourinstagram.com. I was having a sale on that course this week, and today's the last day to get the sale price. The price will go up tomorrow, so if you're on my mailing list for the 5-day Master Marketing your marketing challenge from last week, you would have got that. So what I've been working on for the last 2 weeks is a website build, a WordPress development. So I have a team of people who work for me now in sort of different areas in the social media, web development and design and that kind of thing. And so I thought I'd go through the process of it, and we managed to actually turn around the web development of this WordPress site in a week, which is pretty incredible. I managed to do my own site in 2 weeks, which when I was working with a business coach, when I turned it around that quickly, she was like quite impressed. And usually more realistic is like 4 or 5 weeks, but if you're super organized and you have things ready and you know what you want, you can turn your site around as long as you've done the work ahead of time. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is the amount of work that goes into creating the website. So I know that my friend Jo, who's a wedding planner, she had said to me the other day when we had a networking meeting that she thought she was just going to hire a web developer or somebody, and they would just create the site and it would all be done. And she didn't even think about the fact that she had to give the content and all the images and all the little icons and the logo and what was it going to say. So there's a lot of work that goes into creating the perfect website. And also remember that it's always an evolution. So my website is about 7 months old now, and I'm feeling like I need a little bit of an update on it. It's just the way that things move so quickly now. These sort of bigger full screen parallax infinite scroll kind of websites, the ones where you go where the images are big and you scroll down, those are very, very of the now. It's kind of the way that everything's moving forward. When you see that people like Barclays, Apple and all of that are moving to that, so even your big banks and your online retail stores are moving that way. Slowly everybody will move that way as well, so it's just something to keep in mind. So I'm going to talk about what's the difference between a web developer, a web designer and a graphic designer. So there are different people that you work with. A graphic designer tends to be somebody who mainly works with print, and they would probably be there to design your logo, and they may be an illustrator. They'll create like the little social media icons, any graphic elements or images that are need to be created will be done by a graphic designer. So a graphic designer might even come up with a design of the website, but do it in Photoshop and then flatten it, and it'll just be a flattened design that then a web developer needs to change into a functioning website. So you get web designers as well, and so they tend to be more on the creative side. The web developer is essentially somebody who does a lot of coding, so like people who know PHP and CSS, so the people who do the actual coding and make the site work. Now what happens is sometimes a print designer may not know exactly what will work on web, so there are limitations with web. Like with print design, you can choose, like for instance your fonts, you've got tons of fonts to choose from, you can set your font weight, you can be very, very specific. With web, some fonts display differently on different browsers or different devices, and then the other thing is that you can't set your font weight. You can choose kind of thin, normal or bold, okay, somewhere in between, but you don't have that specificity that you have with print design. Like if you're using something like Illustrator, there you can get really, really specific about exactly how your fonts look and positioning. So nowadays with web as well, something to bear in mind, last year in April, Google announced that all websites have to be mobile responsive. If they're not mobile responsive, there's actually a little test you can do. I'll put the link into my Build Your Brand Online. It's a Facebook group for women entrepreneurs. So come and have a look at that group, and I'm going to put the link there. So you can put your, sorry, I'm just getting a battery notification here. Whoops. So you can put in your website, and then it will tell you if your site is mobile responsive or not. If it's not, then your site may not be coming up in Google searches. So you just have to make sure, otherwise Google will penalize your site. So one thing to do before all of this, your background work, you might want to work with a business coach to help you with this if you're a little bit lost, but I'm going to give you some pointers to get which company do I work for. I work for myself. I Segeris Bruce Services, so I do social media management, web development for people, and business coaching via Skype. So just helping people in terms of marketing their businesses online. So that's what I specialize in. So get really clear on your target market. So this is the first thing you need to do. So you've got to know who you're talking to and what kind of person they are. And then your brand and your design of your website will all kind of come from that. So you need to really drill down and do some target market work and kind of write it out on a piece of paper and give let's say your target market is a woman and she's aged between 20 and 30, where does she shop, what does she do, is she into luxury, is she more like, so if you think of the wedding industry, which is the industry that I came from, and so I have a lot of wedding photographer and event planner clients, and so if you're thinking, what kind of bride, is she rustic, is she DIY, is she luxury, so all these kinds of things, what is she going to want? What is she drawn to? You know, are you kind of hipster vibe, or are you more luxury? Are you high end? So just really drilling down and figuring out who you want to work with, who's your ideal client, and then creating that sort of target market avatar, like giving her a persona, or him. And then so from that, you can start to build your brand and start collecting things. You can do this kind of in person if you're at a shop, or you see packaging that you like, a shop window that you like, take a photo of it. Use something like Evernote on your phone, and you can keep all these kind of screenshots and photos and everything of brands that you're drawn to, and start collecting, make a little box, and then do it online as well. So I love Pinterest for this. If you go onto my Pinterest at Segeris Bruce, you can scroll down and you'll see some of the brand boards that I have. I think I've got one for like a tropical Caribbean wedding blog, and then I've got a chic city wedding blog, which is black, pink and white. So you need to create a Facebook board, a Pinterest board. You can make it secret so nobody can see it, and then start pinning things to the board. And at first just go crazy, like anything that you're drawn to, social media icons, logos, images, anything that you want your brand to be, put it in there. Then once you've done that, you can go and start narrowing it down, deleting the ones that don't quite work, narrow it down, and maybe even copy the images onto your desktop and create a mood board in Blogstomp or in Photoshop, and have like maybe maximum 2 or 3 boards that you can give to a designer, because if you don't know what you want, how are they going to know? So you've got to get your head around the fact that it comes from you, and you've got to come up with your brand and give that proper brief to your designer. And so then the process could be, maybe you're going to work with either a web designer or graphic designer who should consult with a WordPress developer at the beginning of the design stage, because you don't want them to create this fabulous website that absolutely does not translate over to the web. So they're, creating it in Photoshop or something like that, but there's no way that it's going to work, and especially nowadays with mobile responsive, because then it's got to work on the iPad, an iPhone, Android. There's so many variations now, and there's a lot to take into account. So I highly recommend that. What I recommend, and what's the easiest, fastest way, is to pick a WordPress theme. So there are tons of themes out there. You can speak to somebody who does WordPress development like I do, and we can actually recommend themes that we work with. And so if the developer is very intimate with a WordPress theme, it's going to be quicker for them. Every theme has its own nuances. Every theme will respond differently or be able to be customized differently. So some themes have many options. Some themes don't have many options. So you're not going to be able to customize it as much. So picking the right theme, then basing your design around that with your graphic designer or web designer, and then letting the WordPress person take over the developer and do the coding and make the site come into reality and be published. And so something else that you're going to have to do is to invest in professional photographs. So there's no good finding a great theme, having good graphics, but you don't have amazing photographs. So if you are a photographer, obviously we're in a great position because we've got so many pictures, and it's about curating those photos, providing them, getting very organized, like having a Dropbox folder with clearly labeled. Like, I'm super organized when it comes to that stuff, and that's why the process is very quick if you work with me as a developer, because there's not like 20 emails and Skype and here. So everything goes into Dropbox. Everything goes into a labeled folder for each page with the copy and the images in that folder. All the images these days need to be at least 1600 pixels up to 2000 because of Retina display. So you can't have these small images anymore. And so once you use the large images, then at least in future when you want to change your website, you've got the bigger images there, so it doesn't really matter, and you don't have to worry about re-uploading all of the images. And so making sure that your web developer is going to optimize those images so that they're not huge file size, so that the site still loads quick. And obviously WordPress is really good for coming up in Google, so that's why it's the #1 platform that everybody uses. There are other platforms out there, but unfortunately they're kind of based on, like the old Flash sites, just never came up in Google. They weren't very good. And some of these other sites as well have that problem. These sites that are really easy to put together, they don't come up well in Google searches. So WordPress is the way to go. And so, yeah, photo shoots. So if you are a business coach, a wedding planner, wedding photographer, you do workshops, no matter what business you're in, you want to be selling yourself. And so you want really gorgeous professional photographs done. And so I highly recommend planning out a proper photo shoot, and also thinking of the website. So if you're going to need these big full screen panoramic shot, there's no good having a whole lot of portrait images done of yourself. You need to think of the website and think of the big landscape mode now that the images need to be in, and where the text is going to be. So there needs to be negative space. The photographer needs to be briefed on the website what kind of design it's going to be, and to think about, it's the same as when you shoot for a magazine. If you're going to shoot the front cover, you need to make sure you're leaving space at the top for the title. So I used to shoot bridal fashion in London. I was commissioned by You and Your Wedding magazine. So we used to need to think about where the positioning of the text was going to go. And so it's also a process, like having that proper photo shoot, having beautiful quality images, paying for hair and makeup, getting proper outfits so that you feel really good about yourself. I think there's a lot of visibility issues with women entrepreneurs not wanting to put themselves out there, but often it can be because we're not happy with how we look. So we all want to look younger and slimmer in our photos, and there is a bit of retouching that can happen, but make sure that you're feeling the best that you can, you're supported on the day, you have a stylist, you've got your outfits planned and ready, so you're not like scurrying around the morning of the photo shoot, that you're well rested, well relaxed, and just supported on that day that you do have your photo shoot, because it's a big deal. Especially if you're a coach or you're teaching, or you are your brand, so you need to brand yourself and be your brand. So it's just things to bear in mind. There's a lot that goes into websites. It's not just that end bit of like, oh, let's just code a couple of things and get a website out. Okay, and then something else that I want you to think about is your content. And so, like I was saying, going back to the beginning of the scope, when I was talking about your target market and who you're talking to and what images are you leading with, like what do you want to be known for? So if you think about the first image, the impact image that they're going to see when they come to the site. For instance, let's think about wedding planners. If you think of Preston Bailey, I can picture a Preston Bailey wedding because it's the big flowers, it's over the top, it's lighting, it's, I can just imagine it. And I went onto his website the other day, and he has before and afters, which is really, really powerful. So you can see he does these big reception venues, and you've got a slider, and you can actually see before and after and slide back and forth. So I'd love to see his website updated, but the concept of that is super powerful. So before and afters are powerful, like in the fitness industry. You've seen that, and so you can think about how you can use it before and after, or that process of getting something built and something ready, like especially if you are an event planner or that kind of thing, you could have the video done and then speed it up, so like the ceremony setup or the reception setup, that kind of thing, really, really powerful. The other thing is to have testimonials. You need to have not just you talking about your business, but other people, beautiful pictures of your clients with lovely testimonials. I'm actually sharing testimonials this week from my clients on my Instagram account, and it's so nice to read all of those and then see the feedback and the beautiful images as well that they've given me. And it's just such a powerful way to promote your business, rather than you just talking about it. Have your clients talk about what you do as well. And then showing behind the scenes of you working. So if you're a business coach, for instance, I did a one-day intensive where I do a one-on-one coaching day and help people market their business. And I did it here in person at Canelands, which is a beautiful spa overlooking the ocean, and I made sure I had my professional camera with me, and I took a few pictures, and I got the waitress to take a few pictures of myself and my client working together, having our working lunch, working with like big boards that we write on, and her journaling, and just to show, because I haven't actually shown those images yet, I'm just waiting on her testimonial, but it'll be such a nice way to show what I'm doing. Like, people want to know very easily and quickly, what do you do? So if you look at your copy on your site, is it clear? What do you do? Or are you being a bit too airy-fairy? Are you being too whimsical and out there, and it's like, people are like, huh? You know, if people are going, what does that mean? Just tell people what you do in simple terms. I did a really, really good copywriting course last year, which was incredible, and that also was just teaching you not to always use big fancy words. Just keep it simple. Use apostrophes when you can in your copy, just to sound more personable, like I am, rather say I'm. So write like you talk, that is a great tip as well. So just be personable. Say what you do, show what you do. If you can, use video, because it helps people get to know you. Show behind the scenes of the work that you do, whatever it may be. And you can even include some advice and videos like this. You can hire a professional videographer, or you can use your iPhone if you're just starting out. There's definitely options there, and video helps people get to know you. So I hope that that was helpful. So to let you know what I do social media management, online marketing for people, blogging, and then I help only a select few clients with web development because it is very time consuming, and it literally takes over my life while I'm doing that. And so I project manage the whole process. I have a web developer that I work with, so I'm the one going backward and forward all day long with them, getting the site perfect, and then I show it to my clients. So if you've been in business for a little bit longer and you don't have time to go back and forth, if you've done this process, you'll know what I mean. Then you might want to hire somebody like me who can manage the whole thing, who has a web developer, and who can also kind of help you and coach you around certain things. And the more sites I do, the more that I learn along the way as well. And so you can join my Facebook group. It's called Build Your Brand Online. So it's a group for women entrepreneurs who want to learn about how to market their business using social media, having a beautiful brand, having a beautiful website. And yeah, that's the place you can ask me questions. I'll put this replay in there once the Periscope one disappears. If you have any questions for me, please type them in now. Otherwise, I'm probably going to go off and carry on doing a little bit of work, make myself a cup of tea. So I'm based here in South Africa. I lived in the UK for 12 years and the Caribbean for nearly 3 years. So I've moved countries 3 times now, and at the moment we're back home and really loving summer in Durban. So I hope that you're not too cold over there in Europe, and I'll catch you in my Facebook group. Bye for now.